If living in DC isn't your preferred future and you'd prefer instead to live in Arlington, here are 7 neighborhoods that will provide an awesome lifestyle and come complete with easy access to the city. Rosslyn is probably the best choice for easy access to DC. As you can see from this map, Rosslyn is located in North Arlington, and it definitely fits the bill for easy access to the district thanks to its location right next door to the Key Bridge, which will take you right to the heart of Georgetown. In addition to driving to DC, Rosslyn also has one metro stop that's connected to the blue, orange, and silver lines. If an urban lifestyle is what you're looking for, Rosslyn is definitely the place for you, thanks to its collection of high-rises, high density of businesses and restaurants, and its distinction as one of the primary hubs of the area. Thanks to its more urban setup, Rosslyn tends to have more condominiums, apartments, and a few townhomes, with pretty much no single-family detached homes to be found. To give you an idea of the home prices in the area, the median property price in Rosslyn so far for 2025 is just under $1.5 million. If you're looking for some green space in Rosslyn, we all need an escape from the city life once in a while. There are a handful of parks to be found to include Gateway Park and Fort Bennett Park and Palisades Trail. Courthouse is up next on our list. It's also located in North Arlington and is the slightly western neighbor of Rosslyn. Although Courthouse isn't as close as Rosslyn is to DC, it also has great access to the city using the Key Bridge by way of Arlington Boulevard and Wilson Boulevard. Again, the Key Bridge is going to take you right across the river into Georgetown and everything that area has to offer. If you're not feeling like driving, Courthouse has its own metro station with access to the orange and blue lines. Similar to Rosslyn, Courthouse also tends to have a more urban feel to it, with a lot more condos, townhouses, and apartments with pretty much no single-family detached homes to be found. In the Courthouse neighborhood, median prices for homes in 2025 came in at $534,000, although that is a little lower than it usually tends to be. As you'll find with many urban areas, Courthouse has a ton of amenities. There's everything from dining to shopping and even a theater. Green space is a little hard to come by, but Rock Run Park is nearby for a little time in the outdoors. Yet another North Arlington neighborhood is Lyon Village. Compared to Rosslyn and Courthouse, it's a little further north, but not by much. In direct contrast to Rosslyn and Courthouse, Lyon Village is way more suburban, making it a great option if you're looking for something close to the city while avoiding the bustling city feel. You'll find a lot more single-family homes and a few condos here, as well as a ton of trees spread throughout the neighborhood. It definitely feels a lot more removed from the city compared to its urban neighbors. The median home price in Lyon Village in 2025 is $2.5 million, making it a little bit more pricey than its southern neighbors, but that makes sense given that you're getting a whole house with a whole lot rather than a unit in a building. Access to DC is pretty easy thanks to the main thoroughfares nearby that provide routes to Key Bridge, Roosevelt Bridge, and Memorial Bridge. Although Lyon Village doesn't have its own metro station, there are several nearby to include Clarendon Station with access to the orange and silver lines and Courthouse Station with access to orange and blue lines. Similarly, the neighborhood itself is pretty much entirely residential, but there's a lot of nearby shopping thanks to the proximity to Clarendon, Courthouse, and Rosslyn. If you're on the hunt for green space, Lyon Village is a great option thanks to its access to the James Hunter Dog Park and Lyon Village Park. Heading down to South Arlington, our first stop is Crystal City. Crystal City might look a little bit further out if you just look at a map, but in reality, it's not that far. Crystal City has awesome access to DC by way of the 14th Street Bridge, which will land you right at the National Mall, the Wharf, and Nats Stadium. There's also access by heading north to get you to Memorial Bridge, which ends you up on the National Mall, or you can continue even further north and arrive at the Key Bridge and then Georgetown. If you're looking for metro access, the easiest station is Crystal City Metro Station, with access to the blue and yellow lines. There is technically the Reagan Airport Station, but it's a little harder to get access to given its location. If you do choose to use this station, you'll have access to the blue and yellow lines. Crystal City tends to be a bit more urban with almost exclusively condos and apartments for sale. The median home price in Crystal City for 2025 is $830,000. In terms of amenity, Crystal City has you covered with lots of dining and shopping, especially near the National Landing Water Park area. There's also a theater in case you're in search of some entertainment. For green space in the neighborhood, there are several primary options to include the National Landing Water Park as well as the Gravelly Point and Longbridge parks. Pentagon City is Crystal City's western neighbor and also might seem a little further out than you would prefer. Again, the map is a little misleading because Pentagon City is not very far from DC. The routes into DC are the same as Crystal City. The closest and most convenient option is the 14th Street Bridge, which will take you onto the National Mall, the Wharf, and Nat Stadium. Then, the next two options are to go north and use the Memorial Bridge to arrive at the National Mall, or to use the Key Bridge and end up in Georgetown. For metro access, you'll be looking at the Pentagon City Metro Station, which provides access to both the blue and yellow lines. Pentagon City has a slight mix of urban and suburban, but it's really mostly urban. There tend to be primarily condos, apartments, and townhouses in the area, as well as just a handful of single-family homes, depending on where you consider the southern border of the neighborhood. No homes have sold in Pentagon City in 2025 so far, so I'll go back a year for our reference point. The median price of a home in Pentagon City for 2024 was just under $360,000, making it a more cost-effective option than its eastern neighbor, Crystal City. Pentagon City offers a number of amenities to include great shopping at the Pentagon City Mall, as well as a good variety of food inside and around the mall. The two primary green space areas in Pentagon City are the Virginia Highlands Park and Prospect Hill Park. The Penrose and Columbia Heights neighborhoods are located in South Arlington toward the start of the Columbia Pike Corridor. Since they're right across from each other, I'm combining them into one section just to save us a little bit of time. Penrose and Columbia Heights provide super easy access to DC through several routes. The first and probably closest access is using the 14th Street Bridge, but there's also pretty access using Memorial Bridge. There's also the Roosevelt Bridge or even the Key Bridge, although they are a little further out. Both Penrose and Columbia Heights neighborhoods provide a mix of urban and suburban lifestyles. There's a good variety of condos, apartments, and townhomes, but there are also a few more single-family homes in some of the more urban areas we've talked about. The median property price in 2025 for Penrose is $705,000, and for Columbia Heights, it's $575,000. Unlike most of the other areas that I've covered so far, there is no metro station, so these areas are best if you're willing to drive to get around. Penrose and Columbia Heights, as well as the Columbia Pike Corridor going further down, have a ton of great dining options as well as plenty of good shopping. Some condos and apartments are even located above dining and shopping venues, making a trip to the store really easy and potentially dangerous to the waistline. Penrose Park is the primary green space in the area, but there's also the Army-Navy Country Club just around the corner if golfing is in the cards. Shirlington is located in South Arlington, and this one is definitely a little bit further out. That said, the reason that I'm including it is because of the super easy access to 395. With this nearby thoroughfare, you have access to all of the main DC crossings in the area: 14th Street Bridge, Memorial Bridge, Roosevelt Bridge, and Key Bridge. This makes trips into DC pretty easy, almost regardless of where you're going. For transparency, Shirlington is another location that does not have a metro station, so it's best if you're willing to drive to get to your destination. The other big win with Shirlington is that it has kind of a small-town suburban vibe, despite being fairly urban. On top of that, there's a lot of really great dining and shopping in the neighborhood, so you won't feel like you're missing out on any amenities. Wondering how much the homes here are? The median price in 2025 is $950,000. The kinds of homes that can be found in Shirlington include primarily apartments, condos, and townhouses, with a few single-family homes available. The nearby green spaces for Shirlington include the Shirlington Park and Dog Park and Jenny Dean Park, which is located right across the 4-mile run stream. If you'd like to compare some other options for an easy commute into the city, be sure and check out this next video for some spots to check out around the area.